asking everybody here, nobody can really give an outright answer. You know, we even asked in the interviews earlier, and they were like, oh, well, it's probably going to be China or Korea. It's like, well, sit on the fence, why don't you?
It's so fitting that it's 50-50. It's like, I think it'll be a 2-0 in either direction. It's like, what? That doesn't help. That's just saying 50-50. Or even a 2-1. We haven't had a best of 3 actually go all 3 games. Everything has been 2-0. Even though we've had a lot of really close games, the results have always been straight across.
Absolutely. So, I'm not going to put you on the spot. I'm not going to say who you think is going to win, because we need to try and be a little bit unbiased. Well, we could be biased, but that would be a little bit wrong in the commentating. But we are into the picks and bans, ladies and gentlemen. Hecarim does get banned out. And, you know, these bans, these teams actually do know each other a lot, because W and IG have made appearances in the Korean leagues. The Korean teams have also made appearances in the mixed leagues. There's a number of mixed leagues that have happened.
Even the Stars Wars League. They played a lot against each other in that. Stars Wars, was it 2? Where we actually saw it was IG and W in the final. So in that league, they came out on top.
Well, we will see which way this one swings. Hecarim and Jarvan are the bans. Kind of standard. The heavy jungler bans as well. And surprise, surprise, Rumble is taken out of there. Kennen actually removed from Ambition.
And the luxury, actually, that the LPL team, the Chinese team has, is that they were thinking that they were most likely facing the Korean team. They will have spent the entire time scouting and only preparing for one opponent, whereas if Korea wanted to prepare for this, they would have had to essentially look past North America, and we're not sure if they did that. But because Kennen was so effective in the last few games, China's just been sitting back and watching.
Well, Kha'Zix has been banned out. We did see PDD going pretty wild on Kha'Zix against the Garena AllStars, and Rise is taken away from Shy, but it does mean that the 100% ban in Korea has pretty much got through untouched, and it looks like Twisted Fate may well get selected.
And that was actually a pretty big cheer, considering it's not Messiah playing Twisted Fate if they end up going for this.
They just love seeing him.
Twisted Fate in the game. Sometimes it's a rare occurrence. I know in the OGN Champions League, he was 100% pick ban. He was not 100% pick ban in the LPL. It was much down towards 70 or so, which tells me that China has something ready to counter it, because it's not 100% feared there.
Well, we do see them getting locked in. There is PDD on your screens. It looks like Zach is going to be the champion of choice, along with Caitlyn. We saw Wei Zhao and Caitlyn against the Garena AllStars, and it was pretty good.
And both of these guys, Prey and Wei Zhao, have played ridiculously strong Caitlyn's in some of these games. The lane control that it's going to offer in this matchup, specifically if they want to get control, that is China, to be able to dive in, is so important.
Well, look at that. It's going to be Mad Life on Thresh. That's what I like to see. Mad Life will be on Thresh. And, of course, the other choice was Jace, which I'm guessing will be Shy in the top lane. Is pretty much where he's going to go. We have seen an AD carry Jace, but I don't think it's going to be this time around.
That's got to be a top lane shot. He was so good at Jace near the end of the season, as they're still not even over with the season, but so good at Jace right now that they're banning it out in almost every game that he plays in. It's just since it's an all-star team, and since they hadn't been using it recently, China decided to go with other bans, but that Jace is going to be a really difficult opponent for whatever LPL decides to lane against it, whether it's a 2v1 or whether it's just a top lane matchup.
Well, Diana looks like it might get selected. Actually has been on the losing side in quite a few of these matches lately, but has really been a favorite choice here in China, as well as Korea, and I guess the North American and European scenes.
And specifically for China, it will really help them keep the enemy team together. They're going to try to combo in with Zach and Diana for these team fights to really just keep them. We saw that 3v5 5-man kill yesterday, and that was really in large part because Diana kept them there. So for the type of play that China likes to do, Diana really fits. It just, the low percentage was mainly because North America was playing it against what the two teams in the finals.
And that's a champion I like to see. It is Lee Sin getting locked in. Insect's like, yep, having that one.
Didn't get to play it against North America. He was ridiculous on it. No, he did get...
He did. He played
against Europe.
Europe.
Getting my games mixed up. That is awesome.
It was. I mean, we saw the Q land. It was like zip, zip, zip. Stranger like kicked Pete, poor Pete, straight into the turret.
Killed
and like the
Diamondprox.
waiting 5-man spider jumping on him.
And he killed Diamondprox with it earlier.
Yes, of course.
So he's 3-0 actually on Lee Sin if we count the 1v1 game.
That's a little harsh against Europe.
I was talking about Lee Sin.
Well, technically Lee Sin, but it is all against Europe.
I mean, if you want to be harsh, you could say North America is the only team that didn't win a 1v1 or the tournament.
Oh, that's kind of true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little harsh, but we do see actually the AD carry getting locked in, and it is Tristana. That's the champion we've not seen in a while, but we see Nocturne locked in as the jungler for China.
And this is really awesome to me because when you pick a champion like Tristana, you're signaling, I want to be the late game hyper carries, especially when they're trying to combo with Jace, who also scales ridiculously well. Then when they pick Nocturne on top of that, Nocturne is a champion who peaks out really early and dives super hard. So I feel like China's going to be going all out aggression and trying to stop Korea from getting late game composition. I love games like this.
So what do we think? Early game pressure, which way is it going to come from? Because clearly Korea, with the Tristana in there, they want to get a little bit later. But with Twisted Fate, they're going to be making moves in the lanes.
Yeah, so I think LPL is going to be attempting to put all the pressure on them. They are the ones that have the initiative too, but it's going to be on Insect to try to stop that. What Korea's done with this team comp is they have a bunch of late game champions with the early game power of Lee Sin to try to negate that. And then when they hit 6, they're going to try to get through the mid game with Twisted Fate. So they have 2 stop gaps to try to stop China from coming through, and it's going to be about whether they can hold.
And you've got that potential, of course, obviously with the Paranoia in there. Just saw Diana had selected Teleport as well, so Messiah's going to have the Teleport available, so they could all potentially clump onto one spot at the same time.
And that's something they have to be very concerned about if it's the area of effect composition coming in from China. We see what happens when teams all clump up against them.
Absolutely. So, what, guys, we are excited. It is the grand finals here, the All-Star grand finals in a pretty much a packed house, it has to be said.
Man.
No doubt about it. There is lights, neon lights everywhere, neon signs that get shown all across there. You can see it's got LOL. There's a number of WE and IG signs as well, certainly in the top right-hand corner, but we are about to get underway. Here it is. It is the Chinese LCL team, Korean LCL team on the blue team. LCL and LPL, guys, I'm going to get confused.
It's not going to get confusing, don't worry.
Not at all, not at all. But it is the Korean LCL team, the League of Legends Champion League. Whew, that's a mouthful to say right there.
Versus the League of Legends Pro
League. It's the All-Stars, China versus Korea. You guys all know at home what it's going to be. And the red team looking like they may well go walking straight headlong into Shire. Will he face check that bush?
Oh,
this
man.
could be a very dangerous move, Jack.
And we were wondering if there was going to be some level in action. Shine, Madlife trying to go!
They're going straight in for it. That's going to be the build over onto Madlife, but the acceleration gate had to be picked as the first skill for Shy. That may well actually hamper him when he goes into lane phase.
Only a little bit. I've seen so many Jaces start the game with the gate just for that level one positioning, and since he's ranged, he can quite easily play passively up until that level 2. But because China got the harass down on both Madlife and Shy, they're going to be able to take some positioning here in the blue buff.
Well, we'll see whether China stick around or whether they're going to back off. They're actually backing off in the bush, but that's quite clever because they know there's the ward on there, and it's actually going to keep Korea guessing. They've all gone back.
And we talked about the Korean mind games that happened against North America just now. That was a great Chinese mind game right there because now Korea's got to be extremely careful about where they go. On top of wards.
We're looking at Insec, and he's thinking, looked like he was thinking of going towards blue, but they've actually hung around, and are they going to check it? Look at it, they're still pinging it. They're still unsure. They still don't know whether to go in.
Even though they're unsure, the only thing that's going to be a detriment to them is if they actually avoid the buff entirely, because China's not making any aggressive moves off here. The biggest benefit is actually going to be, never mind, there is something big happening because they're doing a delayed invade. They may have guessed wrong.
They've guessed wrong, and they're going to walk around the corner, and they've gone, oh, China are here. Hold on a minute, you guys are meant to be on our buff, and now it might well be a smite fight. Who's going to get it? It is going to be Insect. Can he get away? He gets the exhaust down, but Messiah's going to come around the backside. Will they go towards him, or will he be prey? He pops the barrier and the flash, and it looks like they've hit and run successfully. Ambition comes down, puts the slow card on Messiah, and all of Korea back away from that one. A great invade.
Really dangerous invade, a little bit touchy, but it definitely will pay off for them. The fact that Insect was able to take that away from Troll will mute their early game power right now. We knew Insect was the stopgap to try to let their lane survive, and that is a fantastic start, not only denying the mana, but the early game pressure from Troll experience-wise.
Wow, so what a start here. The blue buff, of course, is up in Insect's jungle, and he is heading straight for it. Not surprised there. That may well hinder Troll quite severely here. You can see he's trying to take down the red buff now. Had to go for the alternative. There's, of course, still got Smite available because he didn't win out that Smite fight. Didn't want to use it earlier on. Looks like he will pick up that red buff.
And this also confirms that Korea is getting 3 buffs to just the 1. A lot of times when we've seen the invade buff steals, they just trade, but because it wasn't a trade, it was actually a contest, it's a 1-for-0, not a 1-for-1 trade.
And it does, of course, mean that actually the lanes didn't gain any advantage from this one. Shy maybe did because he was up there early, because he's at level 2 before PDD in this top lane. And what do we think of this one? The Jace versus Zach.
Zach's going to have to really survive, I feel like. Shy is such, I mean, Jace in general is such a potent laner, but Shy in particular, because Shy wins lanes with champions he shouldn't win lanes with. It's crazy what he does when he has a champion who should win lanes. So he already pushed up, plus he knows that Troll is set back early. The only thing he has to worry about, actually, is Messiah maybe teleporting in behind him, because I feel like Shy is going to be pushed up as far as possible on Jack for a real long time.
Speaking of problems right down in that bottom lane, they both just hit level 3, and Prey he's still at level 1. Both of them are level 3, he's still level 1, only just hit 2 now. And this is actually surely a factor because they went for that blue invade, but they didn't take those golems in the bottom lane.
And another one of the side effects of the blue invade was the fact that he lost his flash and his barrier in that little trade. So we thought it was a huge advantage for Insect, but I didn't have time to factor in all the summoner spell usages. I feel like Korea burned more getting away than China burned chasing.
Well, we'll see whether Insect can gain an advantage back for his team. He has just picked up that red buff, looking like he may well try and come visiting in this bottom lane.
Does have to back off, though. The board does get pinged out, and I think he sensed the play of Wei Zhao and Zhao Zhao just kind of staying a little bit back as he was coming through.
Well, he is a blind monk. You know, he's going to sense these things, as we've seen, of course, against Teemo. But as it stands, it is the mid lane. We just saw Messiah actually coming back, teleporting back in towards that mid lane, but it's going to be the bottom lane where they dive in on towards Wei Zhao. They do manage to get the kick. There's going to be the jump, forces the flash right from Wei Zhao. The hook comes out from Madlife, doesn't quite find the hole, and they escape successfully.
That was extremely close to working and getting Wei Zhao down, but he waited just the right moments to use both his flash and his 90 caliber net to get away. Really, the execution power of that gank was so high, and I do think it was still a good gank despite not getting a kill.
Zhao Zhao very low in that bottom lane. We did see, actually, looking in towards the jungle, you can see Troll. He's come around and he's counter-jungling. He realized that Insect was down that bottom lane. He's come straight around, taking the walls out there. Let's see whether he can gain any more advantages, because it is Korea pushing on this bottom turret.
And what he needs to do now, that is Troll, is he has to go into a lane and actually shove. Taking one jungle camp away does not negate this pressure that Korea has on the bottom lane.
And it is going to be pressure. We do see it's going to be Wei Zhao returning to lane. I'm not too sure he wants to get too close to this turret. No, he doesn't, because in Korea have taken it. They've got enough of a creep wave there to take the turret inside 6 minutes.
So a very quick turret there for Korea. That will give them a little bit of bolstering in the lanes when they decide to go back and get the shop trip on. It'll also give them a chance to maybe shut down Diana a little bit, who honestly Ambition won't be able to do. Now Ambition has even more freedom roaming the map since there is no turret protecting Wei Zhao farming. If China wants to actually shut down Wei Zhao a little bit, which is nearly impossible in most games on Caitlyn farm, because he's farming in that empty turret, Ambition might have a chance to.
Well, we do hear Ambition using the taunt there on Messiah. Wow, this seems like a bit of a grudge match in the mid lane. Using the Get Real kit, I think it was, on towards Messiah as he pulls out that stun card, gets level 6. And actually, we haven't really had a chance to talk about these mid laners, how they've been doing against each other. You can see 42 to 46 CS, very close between them. Both have just hit their ultimates, and actually both have gone for very similar builds.
And the Double Doran's ring is more common on Twisted Fate against Diana because he needs a little bit of resiliency just to make sure the jump on doesn't instantly kill him. The Double Doran's on Diana is a little bit more curious since he went for the Crystalline Flask as well. Usually you'll see Double Doran's in top lane, but Diana might go a little quicker for either just straight up magic resist or whole bunch of ability power.
Well, this top lane is PDD under a little bit of pressure there. You can see the Tear of the Goddess was picked up early on by Shy, so he's going to start stacking that out. You can see he's clearly winning the CS battle, as you would expect. Jace is going to be able to clear those waves out very quickly. PDD really had to go with simple defensive, but there's going to be 2 members coming up there. We do see Insect and Shy, but it's quite clearly visible.
And actually, Madlife forces the flash in mid lane, but I want to get back to this top lane matchup because Shy has spent this entire game pushed to PDD's turret, and it's really showing in the way that PDD hasn't been able to roam around. 20 minion kills already, and just now Troll is starting to come up top, but because of the way Insects outstole the blue buff at the start of the game here, Troll still isn't level 6, so Shy, for a little while longer, can still feel safe keeping this far up.
Now I want to look at what's developing in this bottom lane. There's a big CS advantage starting to build here. 38 CS for Prey and 54 for Wei Zhao.
There's your answer.
Going in. It's going to be Twisty Fate. It's going to be Wei Zhao's the target. There's no turret to fall back on. That's going to be the flash kill. He jumps on towards Zhao. Zhao gets the slowdown and the stun card. That will be 2 kills. It will be Korea that takes it. Ambition picks up the second.
And that was exactly the moment where Ambition wanted to go down. That has been set up for a while. Since they'd taken the turret earlier, we knew that Wei Xiao was going to be a little bit unsafe in that lane, but he was continually pushing up because he was trying to punish Prey's early game on Tristana. That's why Korea punished. That is the reactionary play that we've lauded Korea so much for. They might get a Dragon as well.
They may well take a big advantage here. That's going to stretch their gold lead to around about 3,000 gold. Just coming up to 8.5 minutes in this game. That is a sizable portion of gold already this early on.
Really, really huge lead. 3,000, 8 minutes in, considering how dominant China looked in some of their games. But Korea, as we said, has been the most dominant team throughout this one. They've really punched China in the face really early on here, and China really will have to, I'm saying really a lot, have to come back here.
Well, it really, really is a problem for them, because if there's any way in any sport to silence the home crowd, it's to put their team on the back foot very early on, and that is exactly what you're doing right now. The Koreans are in a dominant position. Can they continue to hold it, though? We've seen teams certainly going up against China before. North America comes straight to mind in game 2, but it's actually Paranoia that's popped. They're diving on towards Shy in the top lane. This could be the first kill for China. Shy does flash away from this one. Will he be able to escape Troll? Surely we'll be able to land that Q in just a moment. He's going to be dead, you feel. There it is. That's going to be Troll picking up the first kill for China.
And Troll's really going to have to make that kill count, because that was the first time he's impacted the game in 9.5 minutes. Shy had been punishing PDD this entire time, and that was the very first time that he got punished for that. Troll will have to wait a while on his next ultimate cooldown, but if he doesn't make that kill count, it might not be worthwhile.
So I feel that PDD is saving up, maybe wants to get that Giant Spell in there, but meanwhile you see Shy, he's going aggressive already. He's got that Brutalizer. The Tyranny Goddess has been stacking for a good few minutes already, and that longsword to go with it. He is going to be a problem right now.
And it's because of the extremely strong laning phase of Jace, plus the shutdown that happened on Troll early on in the game. So Shy, not sure if he's just going to continue to lane against PDD and try to press that advantage, or whether he's going to press mid a little bit to allow Ambition to roam around more.
Well, let's take a look at the AD carries. Look at Prey. He is rushing that Infinity Edge. He's already got the BF sword and the pickaxe comparison to just Berserker Greaves and double longsword. In terms of damage, that is a huge difference.
And it's a really good thing that his team has been getting him kills, that China has a turret and that China has a dragon, because 48 minion kills on Tristana, 10.5 minutes into the game, is abysmally low. Wei Xiao and Zhao Zhao have been doing such a great job shutting down his CS in that lane, but he's been getting it back in other ways, so that's why the damage is actually that high for him.
We'll see whether that is able to sustain as this game goes on. Insect picks up the red buff, and we do also see Troll going around, looking at maybe trying to set something up. We've got the AD carry and supports of Madlife and Wei, not Madlife and Wei Xiao, Dream Team right there. Zhao Zhao and Wei Xiao, which is another Dream Team. Certainly China's Dream Team have moved into this mid lane. They're now up against Ambition.
And this may be trying to stop Ambition's roam here, but it was just the one Twisted Fate gank on Wei Xiao. Maybe they're trying to make sure Wei Xiao can't get ganked by TF by just staying next to him and not having to worry about it. Have to wait to see how that one plays out.
It does, of course, give free roam for the bottom lane. Prey is going to get some of that free farm. Nobody anywhere near him right now, so he could just keep on shoving. He's got good ward coverage. We do see 3 members of the Korean All-Stars moving in towards this mid lane. Madlife joining Ambition, and that is going to be Insect just bouncing around, safeguarding around those wards.
And something that's quite underrated about the Lee Sin jungle when you go Sightstone is the immense amount of just random ward coverage you're able to create. Since he can use it for combat effectiveness, the Sightstone, the Lee Sin really just has the gank power as well as the map control, which may allow Shy to continue to push up since they have double the Sightstone of a normal team.
Well, look at PDD's build. He did go for that Giant Spell, but he also went for a second cloth armor. So he's stacking up really in a mixed match of what to build, whereas Shy, he has full control of that lane, it seems. But the CS difference is not that great because Zach is quite happy just literally absorbing it on the tower.
But the big difference is Shy hasn't had to build any reactive items. If Twisted Fate goes up and ganks PDD, he will be completely vulnerable to that magic damage. That's the reason, you know, even though he's absorbing it, it's the build that's going to cost him later.
Paranoia comes out, but Insect is right there. This Shy they're going to dive on. They may well be able to get the damage down on him in time, but here comes Ambition to join the party. He's going to come in, gets the stun card on PDD. Shy gets away with absolutely nothing, and that is going to be the passive proc. But Prey and Messiah going at it as well. It's going to be Messiah that picks up the kill for China, but it's Korea that comes out on top with the double kill in the top lane.
Big time reactionary play right there. You have to say they sniffed out the troll gank from Nocturne, and Twisted Fate ran into position to stop it. They drew out the fight long enough that he was able to get out there. And then in the bottom lane, Prey actually thought all the action was happening up top. He forgot that Messiah may actually be roaming down to hunt him, ends up getting a kill for himself as well.
So Messiah may well put some pressure on this turret. They've got a double wave with him, so he may be able to take this one down. Madlife and Ambition back in this mid lane, of course. Wei Zhao and Zhao Zhao keeping that pressure going. There is a CS advantage still building between the AD carries. It is around about 33 minions right now, and it's Prey that's definitely falling behind. That's going to be Messiah taking the turret down on the bottom. Well, will Madlife come in time? No, he won't. And now Madlife may be in trouble. Gets the flight just at the right time for Messiah.
Is he really
throws out.
this?
He does look like it is. That's going to be Prey taking the dark passage. Will he be able to jump on towards Messiah's head? The rocket jump is available.
Really?
He does go for it. And now you can see it's actually China that are getting ready for this one. We have Troll coming down. He doesn't have his ultimate available. That's going to be a kill. And it's Messiah that goes down. But now Preymal will maybe target. Shai is going to come down. It's a 3v2 for Korea here. They're turning it around. Wei Zhao getting massacred there. Absolutely knocked him back. Flashes away from Madlife's hook.
That was amazing judgment there by the Korean team to know to go in, because it seemed like a very foolish endeavor trying to chase down Diana that far away, since he had just killed Prey previously, and you think there'd be a bit of fear still in him, especially considering the length of the chase. The fear of a collapse coming in from China is really high, but they judged it right, got out with the kill, and now they're up 5-2.
Whether they just judged it, because, I mean, even looking across the board, that they all had the boots, that anyone that was likely to get remotely close to that fight, the boots were there, but it is Korea that are continuing to shove on the mid lane now. They may well be able to take the turret. They did get the blue buff a moment ago. It's Madlife that lands the hook, but PDD comes in. He gets less bounce going. Madlife does get the shield out. He will go down. Troll flashes away from this one. Now could they turn it on towards Insect? We do see in the top lane, where is Ambition going? He's just going to back off, as are the rest of the Korean team. It's now 5-3 in kills.
PDD really trying to make an impact now. He's out of the laning phase against Shai because his turret has fallen, and we may see more plays like that. Let's Bounce is not on an extremely long cooldown, and he can fly all over the place with that elastic slingshot.
So we'll see how China do react. They've clumped together into a 4-man team right now. We do see Troll off the distance. He has got Paranoia available as well, and of course it looks like China will split out. They need to start trying to put some pressure on the turrets. We see Korea, they already have 2 turrets. That middle turret is very, very low as well, so that's almost certainly going to be the place where Korea starts to put the next pressure.
And this could be a bit of a breaking point for the LPL squad if they can't turn something around quickly, because we know with the Tristana pick and the Jace pick, once that Muramana transforms and once Tristana gets 2 or 3 items under her belt, the game is going to get much, much darker for China. But they're losing this hit. They're losing it now.
They're losing it now because Messiah just got absolutely destroyed. Shai and Insect, they seem to be roaming and working very well together. Very mobile champions, and Dragon now is the target for Korea.
And they are going to try to burst this down as quickly as possible. They cleared the pink ward to block the Messiah teleport if they were to come in about 18 seconds when he reses up. A great Dragon after kill, but they're trying to turn on to Ambition.
They pull the Paranoia down, but the stun card came straight out, and it's Troll that may well get taken down. Yes, he is. They're going to do the dark passage. They pull Ambition away, and he walks away with a kill. It might not be the last, though, because PDD is the next target. Wei Zhao also gets focused. There's a exhaust down on Shai there, but PDD, it's Insect that's jumping towards him. Doesn't quite land the Q. PDD may well have escaped it. They're on to Shai. They get Shai. It's a Messiah that comes in there this time around, and now Prey may be the next target. Oh, PDD, you stuck around. Insect has found you. Has his passive available. The passive is up, and now let's bounce on Insect. He tries to get away, takes the dark passage once again from Madlife, and walks away. Wow, what a game.
Are you kidding me? I think that was a 1-for-1. They were fighting for about 45 seconds. Such execution, but after that, look at the gold lead, D-Man. It's almost 6,000 right now, so Korea, despite the hecticness of this game, must realize they're getting quite a big lead here.
You do see Ambition. Oh, he backed away just in the right time there. I thought maybe Wei Zhao and Troll might find him, but wow, what a game. Definitely going for it now, and like you mentioned, I think China realized the situation they're in. Like, we have to create something. We can't afford to let this middle turret go. Madlife hooking on the minions. It looks like he's going to say, well, I'll take a few just before Shai gets here.
May as well. They're going to be going to nothing. And I got to point out the 173 farm that Ambition has on Twisted Fate over Messiah. That is a monstrous advantage. I think some of that had to do with the AD carrying support coming mid lane and actually relegating Messiah a bit to a side lane later on in the game, and that's one of the reasons Ambition's getting up there. But that first pick, Twisted Fate, is actually paying off right now.
Paranoia is not available, but Messiah doesn't care. He goes in on towards Insect, and well, takes a chunk of damage from Ambition. for the pleasure. That turret, though, in that mid lane is incredibly low now, and it's Insec actually coming around, putting that ward down in preparation for that tower to fall. They know the blue buff is actually going to be up soon.
And the turret's so close to falling that LPL cannot be safe in here.
It is going to be Insec. There's the turret. Troll's in trouble. He gets caught out, but Insec may well go down in the process. Yes, it is. It's a 1-for-1, but the turret goes to Korea, and Wei Zhao was the one that picked up the kill. That's going to be Messiah getting caught out. He gets stunned up. Ambition comes in, and Shy picks up the double kill.
Just gifting the kill there to Shy at the end because Ambition had done such a good job chasing Messiah through the jungle. China should not have been waiting at that sliver turret because the flank was there, and they are quite far behind.
They are very far behind now in Korea. Not needing the minions here, keeping the pressure straight on that turret, getting some hits in it. Here comes the conga line of minions and his PDD. He's charging up, he's thinking of going for this one. Elastic slingshot bounces in there, but straight into the flay of Madlife, and that forces him back. Now Madlife puts the hook down. PDD is going to get dropped. He gets the passive straight away. Can they clear out the passive, or will China be able to defend it? They will, but you can see Ambition, he wants it. He's going to throw the wild card through. Not going to be enough. Paranoia comes out from Troll. He's going to chase in there. He will get the Fearless. Ace in the hole lands out from Wei Zhao. Is it enough? Stun card comes in. That's going to be a shock blast from range, and Ambition walks away for the safety.
Woo. So he got a little bit greedy trying to finish off all the bloblets, and Troll tried to punish him for it. But in the end, that cost China again more than it costed Korea, and they continue to press this lead.
Big difference. Where is Messiah going? He's going at the top for Troll. Ambition, sorry, hadn't finished him off there. I'm so used to seeing Twisted Fate Messiah, I just got completely excited. But it is Insec. He's looking for the kill here. He's sniffing around, lands it on Wei Zhao, forces him away. He could take his pick here, but then again, China could turn around on him.
I feel like that Twisted Fate ultimate served a dual purpose because it seems rather foolish to try to use that TF ult just to kill Troll since he could spell shield your gold card, but he was also giving Insec vision to maybe try to pick up another kill. Because China was safely enough away and in their turrets, that didn't happen, but it was that dual purpose Twisted Fate ult.
Look at the pressure that Insec is keeping on Messiah here. Keeps coming in, poking around that. It's going to be Messiah that goes in, goes aggressive, but they're still keeping on that blue buff, and he's just going to safeguard straight away to Madlife. Doesn't even need the Dark Passage.
That was rude.
That was rude.
There was nothing that Messiah could do to actually get that blue buff. Complete safety by Insec and Madlife. Really just toying with Messiah on that blue.
They are having fun, it seems, here. The Korean LCL team. Messiah clears out the wave. Let's have a look across the minion waves and the items. And that lead that's building up between Wei Zhao and Prey is pretty huge. It's just shy of 50 minions, or just over 50 minions. But more importantly, as you pointed out, Ambition versus Messiah. That swings completely the opposite direction. In gold terms, it is nearly 4,000 now.
And it's 4,000 for the mid laners, but it's still even for Prey and Wei Zhao, which is why they're completely okay having the Tristana here as really safety. Because they've won the early game and mid game thanks to the Lee Sin and the Twisted Fate. And if it gets to late game, then Prey's going to be able to take off because he's sticking solid with Wei Zhao despite getting punished early game.
Well, and of course, you've got to take into account, obviously, the Twisted Fate passive that it gives you. So you're going to be gaining gold everything you do, every little bit of time. 21 minutes into the game, it's got to be around about 1,000 plus already just from that passive.
Yeah, I mean, quick math, that's about close to 600 minion kills. So an easy 1,200 gold just taken because of Twisted Fate. One of the underestimated facts of Twisted Fate sometimes. Not only does he get global presence, he just gives people money.
He gives everybody the money. It's a personal piggy bank right there. But as it is, Shy is going up the top. He's completely dominating that lane. He was putting the pressure all over PDD, and PDD is simply being reactive the whole time. He's not been the monster that we've seen throughout this tournament so far. It looks like his last exchange slot will get charged up, if only I could say the word, and he does manage to clear out the way. But, well, they may be in trouble here.
And the even more dangerous thing is Shy is pretty much at a perfect point for his item build. Mermana Transform with a Brutalizer and a Last Whisper. Well stacking armor penetration, and Korea has no qualms about turret diving and finishing games early.
Ooh, Xiao Zhao taking a big hit from the shock blast. You see Insec landing that Q once again on PDD, and I think it's safe to say the best Lee Sin player in the world right now, as has been proven between the two. Wei Zhao there, just getting taken low, and again the Q lands. It's Wei Zhao, he wants to get it on though. You can see the pressure continuing to be put down by Shy, and the Korean team setting up for this one. Messiah and Ambition in the mid lane, they keep holding off that lane against each other.
And Korea's really just trying to find a window here. They have the jungle in between the two lanes completely littered with wards, thanks to Insect Sightstone and Madlife's Ruby Sightstone. When they find a window, they might go, or they're just keeping LPL scared and making sure they can't get snuck up on.
Kept the pressure down. Insect does manage to finally get in there, looking to get on Wei Zhao, and look at that. Ambition kept the pressure on, continuing. They do manage to go in towards Messiah there as well, putting the damage down, but that's another 2 turrets picked up, and the gold lead now is 9,000.
5 turrets to 1 as well. This is actually the turret number that happened in the North American game when I was sitting with Joe on the couch and we said, yeah, this game is probably over at this point because it's so hard to come back from this 10,000 gold lead this early on into the game. Korea's just going to continue to let it grow, and as long as they don't make a mistake, I think they have this one.
I do think they have it. We do see Prey heading down the bottom. He's going to keep that giant wave pushing along the bottom. The bottom inner turret is the only one standing now, so that almost certainly will be Korea's next target, but they are starting to go back and build some more items. We do see the Rabadon's Death Cap, Abyssal Scepter on Ambition already. In comparison, Messiah, well, look at it. He's only got that Abyssal Scepter and Sorcerer's Boots, and he is missing a complete item, and that is the big difference in the gold.
And it's not like he's missing a little tiny item. He's missing a Rabadon's Death Cap, the second, I think the second most expensive ability power item in the game. That's actually wrong, but it's a very expensive ability power item. It's super expensive is the big thing to note here. Not a good sign. We've seen so many different Twisted Fate builds coming out. We've seen Lichbane rushes. We've seen just Zhonya's Hourglass rushes, but because he was landing against a Diana, Abyssal Scepter to make sure he didn't get spiked out, and because they're so far ahead, he decided to go for that Death Cap so he can just destroy someone in the combo.
And in terms of the supports as well, we're also seeing a bit of a difference. They've both got the Ruby Soulstone, but you can see the Philo Stones, but there is a boots of mobility compared to no boots at all.
And I think a lot of that also just has to do with the general gold advantage. Lulu would love to have boots of mobility, so she could run in and just snare people with Glitter Lance, but there's no luxury, and the Ruby Sightstone is much more of a necessity than boots of mobility.
And then in terms of junglers, you can see it's actually more of a support from Insec. He's going for that Runic Bulwark, and he's going to have the Runic Bulwark very soon, of course. Also went for that Sightstone, a pretty expensive item in itself.
And we knew coming into this that someone on the Korean team was going to have to make sacrifices as far as to make this team work, and so far it's been Insec.
Oh my god, Shy from range just pokes down and drops where Zhao Zhao where he stands, and that is the 3rd inner turret now down.
And some of that has to do with the sacrifice that Insec has put in. As he goes in, might try to start this fight. He's just having fun with his jungle gym right now.
You can see, look at that, just safeguards. He's got that dark passage. He's like, I'm just going to bounce around the map and keep the cameraman on his toes. The pressure now being put on towards this inhibitor turret.
And it's because of the 74 minion kills on Insec that those Shock Blasts are killing, and that Ambition has so many minion kills. Insec is a support role right now. He is an initiator who will go in, kick someone back, and that is his job. They have enough late game awesomeness on their team that they don't need him to scale up. So all he's doing is building tank utility and making fights happen.
And because of the difference between the two AP players, the mid laners Ambition and Messiah, we're seeing Ambition continuing to keep split pushing, keep that pressure on the mid line, and simply put, Messiah can't beat him pound for pound right now.
They can't fight any of them pound for pound, which is why we're actually seeing this kind of triple push, because they know Korea does, wherever they go, no one on China is going to be able to duel them. China will have to force a fight at some point. Maybe it'll be now.
Well, PDD goes in and takes a chunk of damage. It's not quite all the abilities they were hoping for. Paranoia does get used, but he is going to be suicidal if he goes in on that one and chooses wisely to back away. But nevertheless, that's an ulti burn.
And it's a... Okay, just the one ulti burn, as well as Messiah's will be on cooldown. I have to give credit where it's due to Mad Life here. Every time Diana is ulting in, he is starting a play, and it's actually preventing the damage from applying on that Diana ult because she never connects with her target.
And there's going to be the middle turret going down. Is PDD they're going to target on? They throw out the wildcards and the stuns. Messiah goes in on Insect, forces him away. But Wei Zhao and Zhao Zhao had already backed away from that turret. They may well get a second inhibitor turret from this one. They choose to back away. They haven't taken the inhibitor down, but it doesn't matter. Two completely exposed inhibitor, that is disastrous for China.
They need to do something really drastic and very quickly. I'd have to say every play that China will make for the rest of this game is going to be low percentage. So they're hoping right now that Korea tries to go for Baron, or that they backed in different situations from each other. Insec is a little greedy sticking around. This might be LPL's small chance.
Well, we see Troll going in, but he immediately gets ulti kicked straight away, and Wei Zhao and Zhao Zhao, they can't chase this one up. Only single boots for Zhao Zhao. He's not going to be able to chase it down, but Mad Life is there. He thought about maybe closing the gap. He had that Oracle ready. He wanted to clear out the wards, but Insec kind of led the Chinese team straight to him.
Yeah, Insec had so many free ways of getting back in that one, and that's one of the reasons I think China didn't overchase. He still actually had 2 charges on his Sightstone, so we could have war jumped if things actually would have went badly. So total safety, even though it looked a little greedy.
He looked a little greedy, but look at the damage items, the difference. Shy compared to PDD. PDD has had to go complete tank. He had that Sunfire Gate built a while ago, but really is struggling to build out anything else because all of China are having to clump up as a unit to defend. And Shy, meanwhile, well, he's a farming machine right now. Black Cleaver, Last Whisper, and the Muraman are completed. Well, it's not even a close fight.
Scary. It's just a little bit scary. Prey is also starting to reach that late game Tristana, so the insurance is paying out even though they didn't need it. So they're just rolling in money right now.
Absolutely rolling in it. Wei Xiao being a long way up lane here, to be fair, with that many exposed items. He really hasn't got a great ward coverage in that jungle either, but the rest of the Chinese team were lingering around there sort of all as a complete protective unit.
And Korea is continuing the triple push. They're not trying to do a Baron because they realize that might be a situation where they lose the game. They'd rather skirmish around the 3 inhibitors, whittle them down, get the inhibitors down, and just win the slow and steady way.
And they've got a creep wave coming in. Remember, it's just about 2 shots left on that turret. They're not
they
going
might
to go
fight
for
here.
it in 1. It is going to be 1 shot. Prey makes just 1 more. He will finish it off. There it goes, the turret. 2 down, and there's going to be the shock blast once again on Wei Xiao, and it is doing chunks of damage to him.
And they're showing Korea is a surprising amount of restraint because they might have Twisted Fate ulted in LPL trying to make a play.
They're diving on towards Ambition. The Paranoia comes out. They do manage to get on towards him, as does Messiah. There's going to be the Wild Growth, but it is simply put not enough. And Korea, as a full-strength unit, now move in. There's going to be Messiah surely getting dropped down. He'll go down. PDD, he's bouncing around the team, but the rest of them have had to back off. The passive comes out. That is going to be PDD over and done with, and that may well be close to the game for Korea.
Another last-ditch effort by China. You cannot fault them for going in on that, but they lose their 2 biggest damage dealers. Wei Xiao, the only person who does damage to escape this. All 5 are up for Korea. They may try to push this one through without super minions.
Oh, we see that's going to be the second inhibitor down. Looks like they may back away from this one. And Korea playing it safe, and why not? The game is in the palm of their hands. They have no reason to risk it and go for the game.
And especially with the Oracles on Mad Life, while running this way back through the Baron Pit, they can not only check to see if they got seen running toward the Baron Pit, they can check in the Baron Pit, which is what they're going to see right now. They realize LPL doesn't have the capacity of stopping this one, as Troll has no ultimate up.
Well, I believe it was called the freight train move there, as all 4 members go over the wall and take the Baron.
I never understood why a freight train jumps over walls.
I don't know what walls a freight train can jump over. Maybe it should be called something different.
Maybe.
But it worked anyway, nevertheless. And it is Korea that are stomping their way through this one. It is 8,000 gold lead, and more importantly, it's 8-1 in turrets and 2 inhibitors currently down. So what do China have to do to turn it around in the next match?
China's got to do a lot of thinking, and I think one of the big things is find a way to punish more early. Since they picked a very early game composition and then lost it, Insect had a huge amount of pressure, I think. North America may have had it figured when they were banning out Lee Sin. There's so much to try to take out against these teams, but Insect's Lee Sin, I feel, was the MVP for the Korean team in their first round, and it may even be it to this game, even though he's only on 77 mini kills.
Ooh, Insect trying to get on towards Wei Xiao, and the Shock Blast catches on. It takes him down to half health. And as you mentioned, you know, the fact that the turret went down first, it was Korea that actually used effectively a Chinese tactic. Oh my god, Insect is going deep on this one. It's going to be, well, Ambition will join him. No, it doesn't matter because the surrender has come out. And wow, would you believe it? A strong, dominant performance from Korea in game 1 there. They just looked unstoppable.
And it looked like Insect had lost his mind a little bit there at the end, and I was actually ready to go with it. It's like he saw a window, he's going, oh wait, there was a surrender. Well, okay, that makes sense.
I mean, who are we to question him? He's just absolutely dominant on Lee Sin there. Maybe that's one of the bans that may well have to come out here.
I really think you got to take away that Lee Sin. I was not a believer before coming into this. I thought Lee Sin, you sit back early, you ward against his ganks, you kind of let the other team have a bit of an edge, and then late game he falls apart. But the way the Korean team is running this, with Insect still having a monstrous impact in team fights because of his ability to do the incredibly complex ward jump kickback, and then just being content building utility items with the rest of the Korean team building really good late game champions, I feel like the Lee Sin is the key to that strategy, and they need to ban it out.
We'll see what they do. Of course, it seems that the Chinese team, they looked a little down there, as you would expect, but I would hope the fact that they have gone with that surrender, they spent that time to talk about what do we do next.
And that's something that every team should do in these tournaments when they are down almost insurmountably in a game. If you surrender right away, the game is just over and you don't have much time in between matches. But they may have been talking for quite a while. They figured out their plan. They said, all right, let's get back into the last game before we get demoralized. Surrender. go into the next one.
Well, we'll see whether they do. Of course, we are going to send it over to Riv and Freak for a breakdown of one of the biggest plays of the game.
Thank you very much, D-Man. Chilling out here with Freak. We're going to do a few replays for you, and really the momentum of the Korean team coming from game 1 against, or the series 1, I should say, against North America 2-0 here, looking for another 2-0, carrying that momentum. Insect carrying with Lee, and I think the replay here, we talked about it in the first game, it's Korea being in the right spot at the right time, all the time.
Yeah, this is actually a really, really beautiful counter gank coming in from Insect. Let's actually roll the clip out because you can see that Insect is actually waiting in the brush to counter gank when Troll comes in, and he just turns it around, and Ambition makes his way up to also counter gank. Now Shy does amazing duck dodging and diving to get out of this one overall, but this kind of just tells the story of how good the Korean team was in this entire match. They found every counter gank. Prey gets caught. Okay, that was a little silly, but for the rest of the time, I mean, even Mad Life had come up through the tri-brush at that point. They all collapsed in for kills. Insect was ready to counter gank. It was a really, really just beautiful set of game from them. They were always in the right place.
Freak, how do you plan a second game strategy with two of the most impactful champions on two of the most impactful and all-star players, an Insect on Diamond, Insect on Lee Sin, and Mad Life on Thresh? They let through that time. They can't let it happen again.
It's really interesting because it depends on how you want to play the game. All right, if you say no, Xiao Xiao is a better support than Mad Life, and a lot of people would say that's probably not the case. Or, you know, look, if our jungler can out jungle your jungler, right? You don't have to always pay respect to the enemy team. You say, look, pick what you want. We'll pick our stuff, and we'll just win. The thing is, that's kind of what the Chinese team has done the entire time. Is say, or the Korean team, I should say, has done the entire time. They say, look, we know what we're going to play, and it's going to work better. And I mean, we've seen time and again, the other team will try to ban someone out, and it almost never actually works. It doesn't actually do anything. Right. Insect's Lee Sin got banned in the match against North America, and it didn't matter. He was great on Zac. And you've got to be able to say, look, what are we actually going to do for ourselves? Because they got to stop trying to ban out everything.
Absolutely. And coming into that first series, like I said, game 1 was a surrender into game 2. They've managed to do it again, now versus the Chinese LPL squad in their series for the final matchup. So coming up is the second round in this fight between Korean LCL squad and the Chinese LPL All-Stars. And with one more win, Korea will take home the title and earn an extra slot for the LCL in the World Playoffs. The 2013 League of Legends All-Star Weekend. We'll be right back. Stick around.
Welcome back to the 2013 League of Legends All-Star Weekend and the finals of the team tournament. Now we're just moments away from Game 2 between the Chinese LPL squad and the Korean LCL AllStars. But first, I'd like to welcome North America's All-Star support, X-Special, to the interview lounge. I'm here with Freak to ask him a couple of questions. Now, X-Special, you just come out of the game against the LCL All-Stars, the Korean team, and you guys didn't play bad, but it just seemed like they were one step ahead.
That's a pretty fair statement. They came out really strong. We prepared, but it's hard to prepare against a team that has so many strong picks. Honestly, we need like 20 bans in order to just have a huge impact on the game. And they just have so many strong champions, and we had a tough time, and they played really well.
So then what do you do then coming into a match like that instead of prepare? Can you prepare your own like multiple strategies for yourselves and get your own roster up to date, or what could you have done differently maybe?
Well, we had we knew our weaknesses going into this tournament, and that one of that was just our champion roster. It wasn't as wide as I had hoped, and against a team that had twice as many champions available, it just showed that these guys know their champions, and we were kind of pigeonholed into certain picks that you guys kind of saw in the first game, for example, Rise, and it just didn't turn out the way we wanted to, but in the end, I think we came out strong in this tournament, so I'm not upset.
Right, proud of the tournament, as you should be. Now, I've noticed that a lot of people have been saying, well, X-Special is playing so good. Well, they've seen you playing in the LCS for 10 weeks. Do you feel yourself that you have stepped up here? And if so, why is that?
That's a tough thing to say. For me personally, I always try to improve. I don't really care about being the best. It's really more that every time I play, I want to be even better for the next game. And coming to the All-Stars, I've learned so much from LCS, and I've learned so much in boot camp, and I've learned so much in this tournament. And once I go back home, I'm going to put all these things I learned, and I'm going to be a better player. And that's really my goal. And I mean, if I eventually do become the best, I mean, that's part of the step. But I always want to improve.
Can you share some insight with us? What kind of things have you learned? What kind of things can you apply to your team or yourself back home?
One big thing is my ability to, since I understand the game at a fairly high level, I should share that with my teammates. I should be making calls. I should let my team know exactly what I'm thinking, and to give my shot caller a higher understanding of the situation. And that's something I haven't really needed to do, since Reginald has always been a really phenomenal shot caller. But after playing with the All-Star team, I feel like I can even help him be even better at shot calling. So that's one of the big things I learned.
Picking a lot up from this tournament and making it more global, what do you feel this has taught you about the entire scene right now, worldwide, and where the strengths are and the weaknesses?
It's really clear with this All-Star tournament that China, Korea, the Asian scene in general, they look really, really strong. And I think it's fair to say that NA has been stepping up, but at the same time, Korea and China are also stepping up. It's really a question of how fast can these NA teams improve, and with the LCS, teams have been improving a lot. I am looking forward to Cloud9. They are a really strong team, new to LCS, and they can really, really put a huge mark in the North American scene and potentially the world.
So last question for you, looking into the future, the summer split's coming up soon, and after that comes the World Playoffs. How do you see the North American team stepping up to the World when it comes time to play for the World Championship?
Every team will try their best, that's for sure. Now with Cloud9 into the new LCS roster, I really feel that NA has a pretty good shot. There's going to be stuff coming out with TSM Snapdragon and Cloud9 that will likely impact just how well we do at Worlds. And like I said before, my biggest goal is for NA to have a huge shot at Worlds, and that's really my biggest goal.
All right, thank you very much. And of course, for those of you guys who didn't catch the news at home, Cloud9 is the old Quantix squad that qualified into the LCS. That was a pretty recent sponsor change. So just clearing that up for you guys, just in case you didn't know that one. Special, thank you very much for your time with us. Of course, we do want to get the other games on our way. Let's please send it back over to Demon and chat at the desk.
Thank you very much, Freak and Shocks, and of course X-Special. And it's interesting really to hear his words and how he's saying like the Asian scene really has stepped up. And honestly it has. I mean, we knew that kind of coming into this, but it's definitely going to be a bit different for them.
And the biggest thing to take away as we move into this next game is him saying, we need about 20 bans to stop that from happening, because everyone was saying, how could they possibly let Thresh and Zach through? But then in that last game, you and me were talking in between the break, what do they need to react to for China? How do they stop them? Because Twisted Fate and Jace and Lee Sin just kind of seemed unstoppable, but that's going to have its own consequences if they try to ban that out.
And absolutely, and you know, he kind of mentioned it like you were just saying. It's like he needed 20 bans, and we were literally between the break going, they can ban this, but then that's going to be this, and then they need to leave this open. It's like, and actually, that's basically what the teams are going to do. They've got to take that little strategy break and discuss it. So which way do we think it's going to go? Because now it's blue side for China. They want Rumble to sneak through because, honestly, either Rumble or Kha'Zix for PDD, because Zach just hasn't been that impactful.
No, PDD's 2 biggest games were on Kha'Zix and on Rumble, and I feel like both of them are going to get banned in this game.
Well, we will see. It is going to be the picks and bans, of course. They could mean that Twisted Fate may sneak through for Messiah. Who knows? We just saw Ambition on it.
There's a chance of it, but if we consider the Korean game to be more fearful of Twisted Fate, the 3 bans are clearly not those 3. Maybe he's going to sneak through.
Maybe it will. We do see Hecarim Rumble. We're expecting to see Kha'Zix maybe banned out here. Kennen and Lee Sin have snuck through. We'll see what the next bans are. Of course, they could be a big difference. Rise targeted as Shy again. I'm not sure about that ban.
And I actually am kind of sure at that ban. The Rise was so dominant. They've been watching, not only in this tournament, the top lane Rise was destroying in the OGN Champions League as well. And I feel like they can play against Jace, maybe if they pick a more aggressive counter. Oh, man.
Well, maybe they've gone straight for it. Zhao Zhao, if you remember, was landing the hooks day and night against Mistake and the rest of the Garena Premier League All-Stars, and that is definitely a strong pick for them straight away there. You see it getting locked in on those great big monoliths. Of course, Shox did mention, we are going to try and smuggle them back to Cologne.
Good luck.
I'm not too sure the customs may allow it through.
Good luck with that one. The Kha'Zix and Jace being picked right after each other really blocks a lot of stuff for PDD in particular to play, because his Kha'Zix, as we said, and Rumble were his 2 big things, no longer available.
Absolutely, of course, the fact that Shy has taken Jace once again, have they got a plan to figure it out? Jarvan, as you predicted, off air by the way, they said, you know, they're going to leave Ban through, they're going to have to just live with Jarvan, and sure enough, they have let Jarvan through, and there is Zach again for PDD. A little bit of surprise on that one.
And there is a slight chance that we're going to see the Zach in the jungle and the Jarvan in the top lane, because way back in the Season 2 World Championships, PDD's top lane Jarvan was just killer. But with what we've seen recently, Trolls Jarvan is the most likely scenario for them.
We'll see whether it comes out that way. Looks like it's going to be Prey this time on Caitlyn. Has got it selected currently. Just having the discussion right there on your screens. Trying to decide. Ambition, of course, the other champion of choice. Probably going to go for the support here.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, because when you pick your 2 solo lanes so quickly like that, you're just saying, well, we're going to pick anything we want. They need to pick a good support against...
Wow.
I'm going to stop for a second.
That's just thrown everything wide open. Ambition says, you know what? I'm going to take Gragas. It's the final. I'm going to have some fun. I'm going to have me some alcohol and see how it goes.
Is it a jungle Kha'Zix then?
Oh my god.
I think it's got to be Insect's jungle Kha'Zix.
And funny enough,
Gragas.
if you remember the Korean fun games they had, the All-Stars versus the runners-up, they actually did run Gragas in the jungle. Insect was having fun with that one. I don't think they're going to rock that out in the grand finals, though.
I don't think so either. The most likely thing is a jungle Kha'Zix, but that throws the LPL team for a bit of a loop, because now they're trying to figure it out as well. That's most likely what we're going to be seeing. This could be a bit of a return. We'll get to that.
I don't think that's not going to get selected.
The Vayne lock-in is, I think, what the big cheer was for them, because Wei Zhao was almost a Vayne player before Doublelift was.
Well, that is very true, and Malphite is a huge champion for China, and it has been locked in. Okay, break this one down. That is either a mid lane Malphite or a mid lane Zac, and either one of the top or the mid. They're going to be which way or the other.
I think it's mid lane Malphite for sure, especially when IG ran this composition. They would run Z-Tai on Malphite and then Zac top for PDD. Probably the most likely scenario, even though the same composition was ran over in Europe in the finals, but they had Zac in the mid lane and Malphite in the top. So you can clearly do it in either
way, yeah, definitely.
In either role. But this is so much about just everyone flying in from over 1,000 units away and just trying to kill.
And you know, the exciting part is that Insect's playing an Insect.
We think he's playing an Insect.
Well, I can't see any other jungler in there unless they do go
really,
for something,
man? What about Lulu?
Crazy. They could just pull something completely bonkers out of that. Who knows? But looks like Lulu will get selected. MadLife is still hovering over it. There is still discussions. And remember, Blitzcrank is available, which they may well switch around to, but I doubt it.
Especially because of the incredible dive that's coming out from the Chinese squad. They need the Lulu to just let Prey survive a little bit as everyone comes for him.
So they are the teams locked in. What are we seeing from these two teams? That is a very tanky team from China.
I'm seeing the Gragas being the jungler right now. They actually did trade it away initially. And that's going to be the thing that's probably on the top of my mind as I try to go through this. But the Chinese team is extremely aggressive, mainly because everyone will be able to dive in at once. Their team fight up front is extremely potent. After that, they really have to rely on Wei Zhao's vein.
Okay. Question put to you. If this stays this way, Gragas, legitimate jungler.
Insect rune page that is selected right now, it's not locked in, is 20 ability power and 15% attack speed.
What?
That tells me he's doing it. That tells me he's doing
I
it.
want to keep that screen up, and we think he's going to do it. He pulled it out in the runner-up All-Star game in Korea that was broadcast by the OGN, and Monte Cristo kindly broadcasted it to the rest of the world so we could see this that happened. And they were very, very strong with that. I'm not going to lie. Coming out the jungle with a belly slam, those explosive casks, that could be a problem.
They're going to win a lot of style points if they win this game because that is a jungle
Is
Gragas.
that rude, though, to China? Is that like a slap in the face?
I don't know.
On home soil?
I can't tell yet because the first time that Diamond picked jungle Volibear, people were saying, what's he doing? He's just messing around.
Yeah, and he was like, And this is Insect.
Uh-huh.
This is Insect. This is the #1 jungler in the world. He won the 1v1 competition, beat the double Lee Sin fight-off against Diamond Prox. If you missed that earlier on, you can check it out on lolesports.com. But we are live into the game, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be the Chinese LPL as the blue team. They are 1-0 down against the Korean LCL AllStars. And would you believe it, we have Insect on Gragas. Tell your mother, your grandmother, and even wake up your stepdad.
I totally agree. He's like, man, you can't believe the fat character that is picking the jungle. He's wearing Hillbilly Gragas. Let's go watch this guy.
Yeehaw! I don't know where the Hillbilly came from, but nevertheless, he's got Hillbilly Gragas. So as it stands, though, let's have a look. Are they going to go for anything bonkers in this level 1 fight? Will we see any standoffs? We did see some hooks, of course, coming out from the Korean team against the North Americans with that Thresh. I don't think there's going to be any invades, though, this time around.
Yeah, I don't think so. But if anyone's to invade, I mean, Gragas can hop over the walls at level 1. This is going to be a tricky one. And you know about element of surprise. Korea definitely has it here with the jungle Gragas.
I wonder if China have come up against this. I'm sure some statistician will check it out. I'm sure it definitely didn't come up when we were looking at the highest percentages of picks and bans.
No,
that's for sure.
Not very close to that one. And I think you're right about the level 1 jungle scenario here. We're not going to be seeing a contest smite as far as I can tell. We don't even really see many deep wards. There's a lot of wards in the river, but nothing that really gives too much knowledge.
Well, everybody's standing by. PDD looking like he will be in the top lane, so it means the AD and support of China should be down that bottom lane. They're currently lingering around there along the red side. It looks like MadLife and Prey also will be down the bottom lane, so this may well be standard meta. I think it's safe to call all, if you can call it that.
Standard meta
with the
Gragas jungle.
I fear for solo queue right now, I really do.
So there was a time where jungle Gragas was actually really strong, like way back in Season 1, when you could build Leviathan and just body slam around with Max W. Those times are long ago.
Leviathan, I forgot that item ever existed. I'm trying to cast it out of my mind, but it is going to be shy in that top lane. PDD will be roaming on his way up there. There is already a ward there, so he may take a knock to the face as he goes up. But Wei Zhao and Zhao Zhao have set themselves up in the mid lane, and Prey and MadLife are responding to this one.
So they're trying to reactionarily come back to this, but this will put them back in the mid lane a little bit because Wao Zhao and Jay Zhao
go straight bottom.
Messed up those names. Wei Zhao and Zhao Zhao don't want to do that. They want to shut down Ambition because they've actually seen Ambition's Kha'Zix before. He tries to get that 350 minion kills by 30 minutes Kha'Zix, and as much as they can shut him down early, as much as they can prevent that.
Well, we'll see. And who benefits from this idea swapping again? That's who's going to benefit from it. It's actually going to keep... The more that China switch around, they are the ones that are losing out the wave. We saw actually Korea stuck around for that wave. Now they're heading back down the bottom. They're going to pass by that ward, and they are insistent on keeping these lanes equal.
I think it more depends on who initiated the swaps in the first place, because it was actually Korea who decided to do the first swap.
They're going back to mid.
someone should get caught the next time they swap this. The jungler should be catching on if they're going to continue to do these swaps.
Well, the jungler of China, Troll, is just lingering off the side there. They have 4 members currently around that mid lane, so they may well try and catch out Ambition if they suddenly see him coming out there. Look at them. There's a lot of experience being lost by China doing this, though.
They had 4 people just sitting in the jungle while both the lanes were pushing up for quite a while. Now they're going all the way down. I'd say the mind game advantage there definitely comes out for Korea, as they still don't have the lanes they want, but they did get an advantage.
A 3.5.
There's the catch.
Gone there. It is going to be Troll going in, but it's Prey and Madlife. They may turn this back around on him because they're mid-river and they are starting to head the way back up the top there. It's generally Prey and Madlife that initiate and do manage to go up that river, but this time Wei Zhao and Zhao Zhao, they're hoping they can stick around and keep it a little longer. There is a giant creep wave in that mid lane that's keeping pushing in, and actually Ambition's just they think, this is brilliant, I'm going to get a lot of farm.
And he really needs to get that, because if the only, he's not even giving it up. If the only goal of what LPL is doing right now is to keep Ambition down, it's being successful, because he's at 7 minion kills as they continue to just bounce back and forth.
He's like, fooled ya, coming
man.
back. And Ambition goes back in there and does pick up that big creep wave as well. And look at this, Madlife and Bray is still sticking there. It's like, you know what? We're all going to stay in the mid lane.
Let's just have a good old ARAM here at the end. Please don't. But they're going to be able to maybe get some aggression on. Nice knockback. We are seeing damage in all this madness.
Well, it seems that Prey and Madlife are saying, well, we're happy to stick up against you here. Wei Zhao taking a big brunt of damage there, is backing off, so it seems they're going to go back and buy, and Ambition is going to get his wish and stay a little bit solo with Messiah for a short period.
So I almost forget what the point of this was. Ambition has what he wanted. He wanted the 1v1 lane, even if he's against Malphite, who will stack armor against a mainly physical damage Kha'Zix, which is dangerous in itself. Oh, Zhao Zhao misses the play.
The flash play, the hook goes on to Madlife, but it's a little too close to the turret to follow up. And China are forced to back away from this one, but it is Korea backing away. Let's have a look how things have shaken out here, because this top lane, we've really ignored it. PDD and Shy going against it, and again, we do see Shy starting to build up the CS lead though, but we can see PDD, he went for a different build this time around. He got 2 Rejuve builds.
And it was maybe because Shy put too much early harass on him in the last game. This time though, Troll was distracted with all the lane swapping, trying to make a play happen, and still was not able to help Shy's early lane push. But because of the double Rejuve beat, I have to say, the minion kills are much closer.
And actually, while all that was going on as well, Troll did come in and try to interrupt him. He tried to get involved, but you can see in terms of the CS difference between them, Insect just carried on farming. He just carried on doing what he's doing.
Insect spent a little bit of time in the top lane hoping to get a gank, but he's farming up pretty solidly on that jungle Gragas. I really want to see how his build progresses after that Spirit Stone.
And the AD carry as well, you can see it's pretty even between them. We do see differences in the item builds coming out here. We see the Vampiric Scepter being picked up by Wei Zhao, and Prey in terms, he went for the Berserker Greaves early on.
And I feel like that could just be a lane swap game. I need to run back and forth from the lanes even faster because of Berserker's Greaves. But at the same time, almost every Caitlyn we see does go Berserker's Greaves, and a lot of that has to do with, since Caitlyn outranges every other AD carry, if you bring move speed, you kind of keep that tether away from them and they can never close the distance.
I've lost count of how many switches we're at. I think it might be 5 or maybe 6 right now, because it's happened again. Wei Zhao and Zhao Zhao back down the bottom lane against Ambition this time, but the closer Ambition gets to 6, the less it really matters, because once he has those spikes evolve there, he's just going to be clearing those waves quick anyway.
And because they've been swapping so much and so liberally, he's gotten enough. No one has actually lost out hugely on this, and when the game does devolve to the free lane farming, the 30 CS that he's maybe lost in the first 7 minutes is going to get made up in a couple seconds if he gets a giant stack.
Yeah, he's just like, boom, there's 6 minions gone straight down. Of course, he hasn't got the Tear of the Goddess. It's delayed that building up, which we can see Shy with right now. The belch coming out from Insect in that top lane. Prey does manage to get a couple of shots on towards Zhao Zhao as he tries to maybe hang around, and he's actually very close to landing that hook. But again, it is China that want to be in that solo lane. It looks like they were heading up towards the top, but they're going to linger around in this bottom lane, so which means it will be Messiah, which we haven't really taken a look at yet.
No, and we may have actually been focusing on the wrong things with all these lane swaps, because we thought it was maybe Ambition versus Messiah that's the strange matchup. You got to be careful. Insect's got his body slam.
He has got his cask. Oh, he's not quite level 6, so he's going to roll out. The Barrow does get the body slam down. PDD just bounces away from that one, but that was his ultimate used. Where is the teleport going? Malphite thought about going some there, but wait, didn't go for it, unless he just teleported back to lane.
I believe he teleported. He canceled his his teleport's at half the cooldown as it should be, so definitely cancel this teleport or something around this line. I'm just messed up.
But we do see an invade in the jungle. PDD is going to get his popped. It will be the passive though, and he's on the turret. There's a giant creep wave coming in. This may well be first blood for Korea if they can focus the right target. It's going to wait to see he gathers up there. It will be first blood. It's PDD that gets taken down, but now Korea are trying to get on towards Troll. Troll was pushing in. He went and got the blue buff, but you can see his Mad Life that just picks up the double stack.
And that is huge for the LCL Korean All-Stars. Perfect play at the top lane at first by Shy because he actually waited for the Blobus to get really close, then boom, Shock Blast, kill all of them at once. So there was no way the Blob was reforming under that. And then we were focused on the top, but there was the extended steal attempt by China, which was then reactively punished by China to give them the great early lead.
So, double stack on Mad Life. Yeah, he's going to be having fun, at least.
He's got more buffs than he does minion kills so far in this game through all the lane swapping, but he's going to have so much fun with that. And I do have to say we may have had the wrong focus when we were thinking about the lane swaps because we didn't consider Wei Zhao versus Prey and how Vayne was actually wanting to get the extra minion kills in that lane, and that was actually fairly successful for them until recently.
They are at 64 and 76. Build draw to Cutlass has been complete. Insect just dashing away from PDD in that lane. Messiah, of course, he's been a very just out of it, really. Honestly, just sat quite happily farming, quietly doing his thing because Malphite will become very strong in the late game. And if that Malphite Unstoppable Force can set up Wei Zhao very nicely, he is going to be trouble for Korea.
Let's do the unstoppable bounce, maybe, for PDT and Messiah, because they're going to be picking the same target and just going with Troll, and maybe with a little help from Zhao Zhao when they get into the team fight. So even though they're down a bit now, I feel like there is a mid-game point where their team fight will be able to get them some advantages if they play it right.
So Teary the Goddess was finally picked up by Ambition. He's going to start stacking that one out. Brutalizer on Shy already as well, though. He's once again building up very heavily. We may even see a Warmogs coming out from PDD early on here.
And the Shy versus PDD matchup in the top lane is just another example of the too many champions to ban. Because the Jace is something that is feared and often banned, but because there were so many potential champion threats, he gets to play it again. This is not like PDD picked into this matchup because it went well last game. He kind of did it out of necessity.
He's taking one for the team. We do see Insect looking at maybe sneaking around towards that blue buff. You see he dashes through, does put the ward down. He's ready and waiting. They know that, of course, Troll is going up towards that top lane. PDD wards out the tri-bush to try and be defensive against Insect, but Messiah, he knew this was coming. He's ready and waiting to get away from it.
He will be able to get away, and Insect's not even going to be burning any kind of explosive cask here, but Insect is farming up quite a storm. I keep forgetting that we have a jungle Gragas in this game, and it's just normal day because Korea's winning just fine with it.
Oh, Wei Zhao taking low, but PDD won't have his passive, and he just gets slammed into the ground by Shy.
And this is with the tier still stacking up for him. He has not been shut down, he has not been ganked, and that Brutalizer is wrecking PDD in that top lane.
Destroying. We saw Wei Zhao taking a pilt over just before that, and he takes another. We do see Troll also heading in the bottom, but Insect is coming to join the party. This time the explosive cask is available.
Oh, look out.
The hook, it's Prey they're going for. He's going to get out of this one. Explosive cask comes down. Oh my god, he landed on a trap, Zhao Zhao. Would you believe it? Of all the luck, or was it skill?
Oh my god,
Mad Life with the flash. He wants to go to Zhao Zhao, uses his wild growth, but now we see there's going to be Messiah coming around. He gets on towards Insect. Troll has picked up a double kill now, and they're chasing on, but Ambition is back in the play game. Mad Life is there as well. Will they push on towards the tower? They're going to keep on chasing.
I think that the turret will be salvation for Troll and Messiah at the end of this fight. They really used that teleport well to come down and punish the slight over-aggression of the Korean team. After such a great explosive cast by Insect to separate Zhao Zhao, they thought they would be able to have it and dive through, but they did not factor in Messiah's teleport and Troll coming down.
Let's have a look across the board. Items popping into view as everybody does manage to go back and buy. It looks like it's going to be a potential Brutalizer. Interesting to see how Ambition builds this, actually, because we saw some very strange builds coming out from it was Toys. It was Toys early on in that mid lane. But I've seen Ambition's build before, and he goes the standard route, or which is now the standard route.
And unless he's forced off of it, I see no reason for him not to go for that Tear of the Goddess. The Muramana is such a ridiculous item since he can use it with his Q late game to just assassinate, eat people. And there's no reason not to. Even though he was late to his tier, he still went for it, and I think it's the right choice.
So he is backing off. Brutalizer probably will get popped in there. We'll see what he goes towards. And it is going to be a Muramana completed.
So
a Mana Mune, not Muramana.
He was slow
completed.
to starting his tier,
yes.
So he's going to try to be faster to complete it. Once you get the Muramana, it's not only on mana cost, you can get your charge on an auto attack as well. So he's really trying to catch up and hopefully sync his Muramana transform with Shy a little bit so they can go make a play, power spike, right as Zach and Malphite were trying to get back into it.
And honestly, that is a lot of poke. If you get the Shock Blast and the Void Spikes.
And Gragas.
Vorpal Spikes? Void Spikes? I can't even remember the name.
They have
Void Spikes.
They have a very pseudo poke comp here. Because Gragas is often in poke comps as well, just never out of the jungle. Then you think Lulu Kate, that's as well as Troll is getting eaten.
And Troll is getting eaten and destroyed. It's Insect with the explosive. Cascade Ambition wanted the kill, and well, it's just like, nope, big barrel of booze.
That was a huge amount of burst. And
there's
so
another
was
huge amount of burst.
I didn't even realize there were bloblets on the ground.
I didn't see the bloblets on the ground. I couldn't quite catch it in the reflection, but we do see Shy going once again 3-0. And honestly, that has really only been one help from Insect there, and the rest of them have just been all Shy.
Shy's been destroying PDT, and that's after PDT has had probably the best tournament of anyone up until the finals. So that is such an amazing performance by Shy there in the top lane. Fitting for the finals of this All-Star game, but they could be on their way, Korea, to a 2-0 because they're looking so good early.
And speaking of it, we talked about it in the first game, how quiet this arena has been made from that first game. The home team crowd has definitely been absolutely shock and awe, really, effectively, is the word I could use from the Korean team right now.
They've never been able to get into it. They haven't had a lead early game. They're trying to make some cheers when things happen, but every time they're cutting to a kill, it's usually a Chinese All-Star team member falling, and I don't even think I heard a cheer for that last kill in Jason the top lane.
No, I don't think so. It is Insect in this top lane currently. You can see those barrels are really strong now because well, he's got that Cage's Lucky Pick and the Doran's Ring in there, so he's got a bit of ability power there as well as stacking it up early. And now he's keeping the pressure on Messiah in the top lane. He's just going to ground slam and clear that wave. Wei Zhao, let's have a look at him. 109 CS to 124 of Prey. So even in the CS exchanges that happen early on, Prey has built up a bit of an advantage.
I think as far as a Vayne to Caitlyn matchup, that's a pretty good trade-off for a Vayne, but when you consider the rest of the map, it kind of becomes bad because they spend so much effort lane swapping. The fact that they still weren't able to get an equalized CS number is a bit of an advantage for Korea.
So Shy's going to pick up that red buff, and those shock blasts are going to hurt more and more with that little dot that's going on the back there. Wei Zhao taking some spikes in the back. I gave up remembering what the first name is, but it's Ambition that's building it. And that CS, you know, it's starting to stack up. As you mentioned, once he gets that level 6 evolved on towards them, and he's just going to wipe out those waves very, very quickly. As we see so often with the Kazakhs, the CS tends to get a little bit out of control on them.
And he's escaped that early game laning phase to try to take it into the teamfight phase and maybe power up late game. But Shy he's chasing down a different monster here in the top lane and just wrecking Messiah.
He's absolutely wrecking him, and he's going beyond the tower dive here. Messiah has got his unstoppable force available. Will he delay him long enough? He might turn it around. He didn't even use it. Instead, he just dies flat out to Shy. 4-0 Shy now.
There was a little bit of respectful applause after that one because they realized how strong he is. He missed his shock blast Q and still came out on top. Insect getting a little greedy.
He's going in. He may well be able to belly slam away from this one. Yes, he does. He walks through there. He has got the cover as well. Ambition in the jungle as well as Mad Life, and he escapes without any harm doing. And that is a turret going down, the first one of the game, and it's the Korean LCL AllStars that take it.
And even though it hasn't been a defining moment in this game, Insect's jungle Gragas, trying to kind of piece together why it would make more sense if it wasn't just a crazy pick. When you first pick a Jace and a Kha'Zix, you're telling the other team that you have two physical damage solo laners, which immediately cues China to say, well, we're just going to stack super huge armored divers to come into them, which is what they have done with Malphite and Zac. I don't remember the exact moment of the picks, but in that scenario, if there was no AP from the jungle, then it would be much more effective and easier to do. But since they've been able to fit in that jungle AP threat, it might be a little bit to offset that composition, but he will need to get a lot more farm, and the game will have to get a lot closer for that to start to matter.
And honestly, the pressure that Korea have been applying is really not giving Xiao Zhao any chance to try and land those hooks, go aggressive like he was against the Green or All-Stars. And now PDD, he is getting absolutely mauled by the hammer of Shy right now. He has no cares about that. He's like, the tower, he's like, I don't care about this tower.
Shy is not killing that tower intentionally because it's making it even more difficult for China to lend help to that lane. Everyone is seeing how dominant he's being as they have to help him as they dive mid.
They dive into towards Xiao Zhao. He gets taken down, the explosive cast from Insect, and that is going to be the mid turret going down the first time. Xiao Zhao gets a barrel in the back as well for his pleasure. And Shy, like you mentioned, he's just farming between lanes. The minions will take the top lane down as well. That is going to be 2 turrets for Korea.
This is just so much control right now. The goal lead ballooning to 8,000. China maybe trying to make a counterattack, but the poke is keeping them at bay, as well as the deaths they've already suffered.
Messiah was trying to linger off at the side there and maybe make a play and come in. He teleported there, I think. I'm not so sure whether he came in from the bottom or not, but Korea already see him. He walked straight past the ward, and they immediately moved towards this inner top turret. It's going to be PDD using Let's Bounce on Shy, but the rest of the Korean team are here to help out. Troll does jump in, but the Cataclysm is not enough. Shy survives that one. PDD, he takes a pilt over Peacemaker. Ambition there comes in. He puts the 4 points down. Messiah comes in now. Has gotten Scott Force, lands it as well. It's going to be Prey getting focused on. He actually manages to catch Prey on towards the back. The display comes out. Messiah gets targeted. It's another kill for Shy, and they are dominating now, Korea. China trying their best to make some plays, but every time Korea is there once again.
Just the counter attack by Korea has been amazing all throughout this All-Star event. They are still poking down, despite Shy having a sliver of health, getting another turret just because they can.
Just because they can. It's 10-3 in kills, and that is almost a 10,000 gold lead 19 minutes into the game. It makes the turrets 4-0 right now for Korea.
This is quite an impressive showing. Not only have they picked in a jungle Gragas, he's 3-1, and Shy, with barely a sliver of jungle help, has just turned himself into a monster. I'd say, as far as an individual performance goes, this may be better than what PDD was playing like yesterday.
Absolutely. He's got that Black Cleaver. The Mirror Mana just completed as well. That just pops into vision, and he is unstoppable. And look at this, a Morello Necromon built on the jungler of Insec.
And this is actually kind of a fun interaction that Jace has when he builds a Black Cleaver, because Black Cleaver applies the stacking armor debuff on every application of physical damage. So when Jace swaps into his range form, that's 1 application. If he has his Mirror Mana active, that's 2, and his auto attack counts as a 3rd. So on his first hit in range farm, he gets 3 shredding stacks to the Black Cleaver, which is a bit of pain coming in for the Chinese All-Stars.
That may be what the Russians would call OP.
Maybe a little bit, and if he builds Blade of the Ruined King, full stack on 1 hit.
Well, we see the ping ward fight coming out. Insec is going to clear out that wave. Ward's going down left, right, and center. And, well, Insec is ready to throw out that barrel. And Zhao Zhao is going to stick around, taking a barrel in the backside. Took down about a quarter of his health, and Shy continues to shove that top wave. They have to do something to deal with him. They're going to lose 1 turret here.
And they're getting poked so hard because this is essentially a poke composition in disguise by the Korean All-Star team. LPL, in order to stop the poke competition, would have to hard engage, but because there's the Mirror Mana transform and so much power right now on the Korean All-Star team, a hard engage might be the last thing they want to do.
It would be a hard engage for sure, but it'd be hard for China, and they would get destroyed, I feel. They are way down now in gold, way down in items as well. Looking across the board, Infinity Edge versus a Blade of the Ruined King. Right item, honestly, for Wei Zhao, but just in the wrong moment. And as you mentioned, in fact, early on, we do see actually jumping in. Ambition pounces in there.
Where did he
demolishes.
go?
Zhao Zhao, I didn't even see him on the screen and he was dead. But we do see an explosive cast on PDD. There's another barrel rolled out. They're going to go in towards Troll. A hammer comes down.
Whoa!
Oh, what on earth happened there? He slid in, slid straight out. Troll gets ace in the hole, comes in. Wei Zhao tries to come off. He gets taken down. Shy gets demolished in. And that is Korea absolutely demolishing China in their own base. They haven't even taken the inhibitor down, but they're just going to wreck the base instead.
5-for-0 kill almost out of nowhere. First off, Zhao Zhao disappeared, and then they just all hopped into the base to make work of the rest of the Chinese squad. The death timers are maybe too low for them to be able to end this game, as they have to back away.
Wow. Just destructive force, and that is simply put Korea knowing how strong they are right now. So many times we see teams get in this strong position, but they are well aware of their strength, and they were quite happy to go all in on the turrets.
And there was some ridiculous timing on the Jace knockback right there. This may not be the case forever for Jace, but right now, when he has the angle of the knockback started, even if you move block away, it's going to take your initial position into account when he knocks him back. So since he was knocking him out of the base before he flashed in, it knocked him completely out of the base once he did go.
He was like, what, hey, what? In fact, to flash away straight away, but it was too little too late, and he did finally get in there. 7-0-3 for Shy right now. He was dominant in game 1, he is dominant in game 2, and honestly, to be putting frank against North America, he was very dominant, and Europe absolutely smashed them as well. 5-1-3 from the jungle. Insec on Gragas.
I think it's safe to say the Korean All-Star team is dominating the world in this event, because every game has just been really a roll-through for them. They have played so amazingly well, and the style points at the end with the jungler Gragas are a nice touch here, as they're probably going to look to end fairly quickly.
And without, I'll get to that in a moment as they dive in towards Insec. Actually, he just walks away from that one, or effectively waddles away from that one. Shy continues to shove in that bottom lane. Xiao Xiao, do you really want this hook? I'm not sure you do, but they are going to get a kill on Prey, and that's a big kill for China. Can they try and make something from it, like a Baron?
And China will have to continue to push. The Baron is out of the question because they're getting collapsed on by 4 other strong members of the Korean team. This could be a very game-defining play.
They've managed to find Shy, but I'm not too sure they can land it. The hook gets rolled out, but Insec has other ideas. That's going to be the wild growth in Wei Xiao. He's going to get focused on, can he take the dark passage? No, because it was a passage to nowhere, and Ambition comes in, and Insec picks up a kill, another one. Insec goes leaping around, Shy drops the hammer, and it is going to be yet another ace for Korea.
4 for 2 in that one. Troll just got out of there. It was very close to an ace. That's definitely what it seemed like, because despite having no AD carry in that fight, they had enough just straight up damage because they really did have an AD carry in that fight. His name was Shy, and he came from the other side.
Came from the other side, and that seems to be how it is all working out for Korea. And what I was about to mention as they pick up the Baron is really, if any scene is deserving, and deserving is a harsh word because there's a lot of top teams in the world, but I feel the Korean scene right now is definitely one that may well want that extra slot in the Season 3 World Finals.
If they're able to finish off this game, which they have an extreme chance of doing, there is such top to bottom depth in the Korean scene right now that extra team will still probably have a chance of competing for the championship in the World Finals. It won't just be an extra team that they end up sending.
And absolutely, we'll see, of course, who that could be. You managed to keep out your eyes on the summer seasons in the OGN champions, as well as all the other summer splits that are coming up. But right now, it is Korea versus China, and China are in desperate, desperate trouble on home soil. And could we see another 2-0? We've not seen a single best-of-3 go the distance yet.
It's a little bit of luck, and I think a little bit of Korea just being amazing throughout this entire tournament. The reason we haven't seen a game actually go all 3 sets, because these have been these have been very dominating performances.
Very dominating indeed. We see another Black Cleaver being picked up. This time, of course, it is Ambition. He's got that as well as his cooldown boots, which he will be stacking. Well, LPL, they're sat waiting in the bush, but I'm not sure it's the right time. Insec goes in, throws out the barrel. He may well get taken down here. Wei Xiao does manage to pick up 1 kill, gets that shutdown, but Troll gets melted. Ambition leaps back out there. Messiah goes trying to get away from this one, and the poke on towards Wei Xiao there. Ace in a hole gets blocked off by PDD, and again, it is a 1-for-1 trade, a 2-for-1 trade. Sorry, I didn't even see Troll go down.
Some of these people are just disappearing because there is so much damage and burst that comes out from Kha'Zix and Jace combined when they jump onto that target, and that is not even a transform man immune yet on Ambition. It's at about 670 right now, so it will be soon if this game makes it that far.
And the Abyssal Scepter being picked up by the jungler, why not?
May as well.
May as well just get a bit more ability power as the Shock Blast lands on Wei Xiao, almost takes half his health off, and that turret is getting shredded down by the Korean All-Stars.
And this is going to be just poke upon poke, or maybe just a whole bunch of brute force, because they just tanked up that auto attack turret, and the inhibitor goes down super fast. Those hypercharge, and 1 shot from Caitlyn is what did that to that turret.
Absolute demolition. The Chinese team having to defend off their super minion stack that was coming up the mid lane. They will hold off once again as Korea do back away to buy here. They may well buy themselves just that tiny amount of time, but it is not a great deal of time, and you can see, honestly, on their faces, their concern, and the concern from the home fans as well. This is a very quiet 8,000-seater stadium right now.
This is such a passionate crowd, and was yesterday when China won their spot in the finals, and they just have not had a chance to get into this one. We just realized there's an 18,000, soon to be 20,000 gold lead, only 27 minutes into the game.
The final inhibitor turret does fall, and now all inhibitors are exposed to the Korean All-Stars as they start breaking down the door of the Chinese LPL All-Stars. And there is not a great deal right now they can do to defend this one. Insec is simply waiting for his moment to land that explosive cask on Wei Xiao, and that will open up the attack from Korea.
And it's just a matter of who Ambition wants to eat first, I'm pretty sure, because it was Zhao Zhao in their last ace, and he's going to nom on a few minions in the bottom lane. He's got the Muramana transform at this point.
I'm not too sure what they can do to stop Shy either. He's 9-0-4, and honestly, from the very beginning, there's not been a lot to stop him. That one little bit of help. Oh, they flash engage. Is it the right time? I'm not too sure. The Wild Growth, this is an all-in move from China, and it is going to be all out as well, because it's Korea that turn it around, and they just melt everyone in the Chinese All-Stars. Look at Ambition leaping on. Can he get on the fountain? Wei Xiao does manage to escape. Ambition takes a lot of tower hits there, but it is going to be the Korean All-Stars that will be taking the world by storm and taking their spot rightfully at the top of the World All-Stars.
That was such an amazing performance by the Korean All-Star team, getting the last hits here on the Nexus. Start to finish, domination.
Absolute. There you can see the Korean team, Mad Life Prey, very happy with their victory. Ambition in that mid lane. Really, this is a Korean team made up of 4 different teams that have come together and dominated the world.
This was a statement, I have to say, by the Korean All-Star team. They only had a week to prepare coming into this one.
They're still active. They're still playing.
They're
the
still
semi-finals.
They're in the middle of their playoffs right now. All these teams coming together and actually sharing strategies, sharing their tendencies with each other, because they know in the long run it will be better for their league and themselves getting that extra spot.
Beneficial to them all. Actually, you got to wonder, Messiah is distraught there, bless him. You got to wonder if this has helped the Koreans, the fact that they are mid-season, but China as well, they are mid-season, they got their playoffs to come as well. So both of these teams, oh, he wants a hug from PDD Shy there. I'm not too sure whether it's a hug or it's just like, what happened, man? That was pretty one-sided. I was expecting a bit of a challenge. PDD shaved his head yesterday after losing to Soaz, and may well have to shave more of his body hair because that was being dominant performance. I'm not too sure what bets he may well have had shot with Shy there.
Yeah, that was just a showing by Shy as well. At the end of that game, 9-0-7, world-class, above world-class play.
World-class really indeed. And honestly, you've got to think really, it wasn't that close of a game. It was Korea showing the world that they are the best at League of Legends right now.
I mean, even a couple stats, 54,500 to 32,000 in that game. It went on for a while. I think because it was the finals, China definitely didn't want to surrender. In front of this crowd, not want to disappoint. Every single last resource was devoted, which actually made it seem a little more one-sided than another game where a team just surrenders.
So what do we realistically take from this? Obviously, it's been a bit of an exhibition, the All-Stars. It is for a serious point. It is for an extra spot in the World Finals, as well as, of course, those buys that they got through the group stage. But what do we take from this? Do we see the Korean seed? What is so great about the Korean seed right now that is putting them so far ahead of everyone else?
I think one of the things is their OGN, like their Champions League, has been going on for quite a while and has been highly competitive the whole time. Because we think of the North American and European LCS as something that's actually only been happening for about 4 months. But the OGN Champion seasons have been going since when North American teams were going over to Korea to play. So they've definitely, even just in League of Legends, not even counting other games, have fostered their competitive environment from an earlier time, which may be one of the small things that contributed to this.
And actually, if you think about it, the competitiveness, the high-pressured nature of the OGN champions that they have is the fact that some teams that were in there that won it maybe before or were close to getting there, even in the quarterfinals, semifinals, didn't even get through this time. They got knocked out in the playoffs because there's so much competition, and suddenly you see teams and players coming out the woodwork. I think back to Shy, you know, obviously you think the adjustments that Frost had after Season 1, they shuffled around, you're like, oh, I'm not sure that's going to work out. Frost have been dominant, Blaze have been dominant, Najin Sword, of course, won it before. Now we're seeing the likes of SK Telecom coming through, Team 2, they're in there, MVP Ozone. There's so many strong teams in Korea right now. How do you set them all apart when you can see them just grouped together like that on the stage and dominate the world?
I really think that it's going to be a question that the rest of the world has to answer before they make it to the World Finals, because even though this is the All-Star game, we absolutely know that Korea had the strongest team.
Yeah, and you can see they're obviously on the stage receiving their plaudits from the Chinese crowd, and it was a respectful applause, I think. It would have been a bit of a bigger roar if it would have been the Chinese, but I think, you know, even speaking to some Chinese fans that we've had here that have come up to us that do speak the English, and they basically said, you know, how impressive the Korea have been. And it's like, when I asked them, it's like, well, it's China-Korea final, who do you think is going to win? They were like, Korea. So they're predicting, they were right in their predictions because...
It's a 50-50 vote, and we saw them all these points.
But you don't expect the home fans to say, Korea will win.
it speaks to the knowledge of these fans as well
我们的翻译人
sometimes.
员很可爱。
It speaks
You can't say
volumes.
enough. I mean, a lot of it has to do with the compositions of these teams because we have to remember the LPL All-Star squad for China, the #2 team in that league, OMG, didn't have a single representative of the All-Star team, whereas the Korean team was made up of the top players from 4 different top Korean teams.
Absolutely fantastic stuff. Fantastic stage, by the way. You can see it there. I'm sure you guys have been all talking about how this setup has been working. Hopefully, we're going to see some more fantastic stages. Don't forget, of course, the Season 3 World Finals are to come later in the year. The summer split will be coming up shortly. It's already been announced that the European LCS will be starting at DreamHack. Of course, the American LCS will be kicking off soon as well. And, you know, looking across the world, you think of the Garena Premier League, the OGN Champions, which is still ongoing. Of course, they're going to have another season. Don't forget to miss those. Don't miss those semi-finals. Don't forget to miss them. Definitely don't miss them because those semi-finals will be fantastic. The fact that Frost and Blaze are going to be facing off against each other, SK Telecom and of course MVP Ozone, they're facing each other. Meanwhile, in the Chinese LPL, which you've just seen there, IG are facing off against OMG, I believe. Or is it the other way around?
So
no, they're playing
their
Positive
playoffs
Energy.
have just started, so they
And
haven't
WWE
seeded
face
each other.
OMG. No, they're seeded. They're set. Yeah.
Was it the top 4 that made it into the playoffs? in
Yeah,
the LPL?
1v4 and 2v3.
Yeah, it's absolutely
So
W versus OMG.
which is in itself a big game. And OMG is a team we've not really talked a great deal about, but they actually finished second in that, and they did manage to get through. But we are going to send it down, ladies and gentlemen, to the main stage. You can see Dustin back.
Hey everyone, that was an incredible weekend, and congratulations to the All-Stars, everyone who's here, and to the team tournament champions, the Korean LCL All-Stars.
大家好，这是一个难忘的周末，让我们再次将掌声献给这支我们获得冠军的 LCL 韩国全明星战队。
It's been a huge honor to be here to watch these games play out on such a grand stage and to see everyone come out to support the All-Stars.
今天我感到非常荣幸，可以来到这边和你们一起见证这些伟大选手以及伟大英雄联盟的玩家朋友共同奉献的精彩赛事。
On behalf of Riot Games, I want to thank China, the city of Shanghai, and all you great fans here today for being such amazing hosts.
在此，我仅代表 Rush 公司感谢中国上海，感谢每一位来到现场的玩家朋友们，你们太棒了！
And thanks also to everyone who's watching and playing, not only here but around the world. I want you guys to know that you are all the reason that's made all of our esport efforts possible.
同时，我要向全球所有正在关注本次全明星赛事直播的玩家朋友们表示感谢。正是因为有了你们，才能让 AllStar 的周末变得如此精彩。
We're going to continue to make 2013 the best year ever for esports.
让我们一起携手，将2013成为电子竞技这项运动发展史上最具有里程碑意义的一年。
So anyways, without further ado, guys, we have the world premiere of the League of Legends cinematic, A Twist of Fate.